when it came to overclocking the CPU, we managed to go from 2500 megahertz or 2.5 gigahertz to 2650 or 2.65 gigahertz. Just a small bump to the base clock, around 106, as you can see there. 106 on the base clock. We could push it a little further, but we started to get instability then, so we brought it back down to 106. So that's a little bit extra speed for nothing. Obviously that's faster than the 2670, which comes at 2.6 2600 megahertz. So we've kind of gone on par with that speed and then bested it a little. It's better than nothing. Obviously it's a measly overclock manually, but we will check the auto overclocking and see what we got. Now I have put the turbo, the boost on. The multiplier for this CPU does seem fairly low at times 12. So I've been having a hard time trying to get the multi for the turbo to work instead of that. I'm not sure if it works like other platforms in that sense. But we'll try the auto. Now the version of real temp, what I've got now, obviously it's a version set up for i7s and i5s, so it's just shown temperature info for four cores instead of the 6 cores. So probably have to update that real temp software to a newer version, which might help that there. Now it obviously still shows that the temperature can vary from core within the CPU die itself. So you got your lowest temperature there, 38, 42, 14, 46 for another one. So you'd obviously have another 2 cores as well. And obviously when you're overclocking, it's your weakest core as well. You know, that's the bottleneck there when it comes to overclocking. You only going to go as far as your weakest core can take you. So even if you've got, in this case, 5 cores that are capable of a certain speed, if the one of them is only capable of so much, then that's as far as all of them are going to go. So that's virtually useless, really, that real temp. So we can get rid of that till we get a newer download. Now the AI Suite does come with its own sensors and things like that. Obviously you've got the all 6 cores monitored here. And you've also got the hyper threads for the 12 threads as well. So 2 banks of 6 there. Anybody that doesn't know, obviously in layman's terms, what hyper threading does is split a core into 2, so it can utilise an extra thread per core. I think that sounds about right in layman's terms, without me getting spouting a load of jargon and rubbish. So basically you'd have a quad core with an i5 and an i7. It's a quad core again, but with hyper threading, so it's not just 4 threads, it can do 8, if you get what I'm trying to say. Now we bring back the AI Suite. There we go. Auto tuning. You can bring auto tuning up within AI Suite. You do have the option to go into a manual mode where you can change everything there, and you've got all your voltages as well. Your CPU strap. See, that takes it back down to 100. Your CPU straps there. I've tried the CPU straps within the BIOS, but it didn't like it. So it's probably best, you know, after having my manual try of. After pressing start, the system starts performance tuning and may reboot 2 or 3 times. An error message indicating incorrect system shutdown may appear after system reboot. Please ignore the message and continue the tuning process. In addition, please do not operate or manually restart the computer during the tuning process. The auto-tune system performance varies with the installed devices such as the CPU and the DRAM. The auto-tuning function overclocks your system settings, including the frequency and voltage of CPU and DRAM. Installation of advanced calling systems is recommended. The auto-tuning settings will be stored in the system BIOS and will take effect after the system automatically reboots. Auto-tuning is under stress test. Your screen might flash during the test and will return to normal after the test completes. So it will save that to the BIOS. I don't know if it will save that to the BIOS as a separate setting, or whether it will just alter everything and keep that stored. Well, I guess we'll see. So we can start that process. So it'll restart. Started the process already. Afterwards, we can see that the auto-tuning in the AI Suite has successfully overclocked our Xeon 2640 to 3090 megahertz, or just a little over, or you could say 3.1 gigahertz. So it's gone from 2.5 gigahertz to 3.1 gigahertz of an overclock of 23%. That just shows the value of me buying this board. Basically, I bought this board over some of the cheaper ones on the market now for this socket, because A, it had the quad channel instead of just the dual channel memory, but it had the EPU power saving mode, and it also had overclocking capabilities, and this just proves the point of buying this board. Now, when we say the £29 CPU project, the Xeon CPU project, obviously the system doesn't cost £29. This motherboard was actually quite expensive. It was about £200, a little bit over £200, but you can get them around that mark and a little bit under. There are some new Chinese. They're all built in China. This board actually has China. The ASUS, the more top of the range, ASUS, Gigabyte, and MSI, and all them. They're all pretty much built out there in China. Anyway, this board does have made in China on it, but there's some Chinese ones that are being made now around the £130 mark. Probably a little less. I've seen a Micro ATX1 and X79 for, I think it was about what translate or converts to about £96, something like that. You'd have to pay the postage on top of that as well. So you can, if you're, I was going to say, if you're buying a board just to run this £29 CPU at stock settings, then you don't really have to spend that. You can buy one of those boards. But this is partly the reason why I bought this board, because you see, overclocking the thing manually, like we just saw, that you're all able to do. I was able to get an overclock and get some extra value out of the CPU, as we saw, can take it up to 2.65 gigahertz. But the trouble is, with the automatic tuning, it's took it over 3 gigahertz, which has put nearly 25% performance on there, 23% performance. So this was the P9 X79 was a good buy. Now the auto tuning is part of the AI Suite, and when it comes to downloading the utilities, obviously it's in the utilities, but there isn't an AI Suite for this, set for this to be used for this board in the Windows 10 download. So you will have to download the Windows 8 or 8.1, I can't remember what it is, utilities. Obviously they run on Windows 10 anyway, so that's how you can get around that. So we're going to press OK for our overclock of 3 gigahertz, and well, nearly just off 3.1 gigahertz. And if we bring up if I can bring up CPU-Z or CPU-Z as Americans call it, because they change everything. So we're going to see what CPU-Z is reporting at the minute. If we can just focus in, CPU-Z is reporting at the minute 2575 for some strange reason. Don't know if that's got anything to do with so we'll have to try and something is obviously changed, because it was on 2.6 before. So we'll have a look. We'll bring up the it might be because there's nothing sufficient running to sufficiently stress the CPU enough to put it up to full power. So if we monitor CPU frequency through the AI Suite, see what it says there. The CPU Suite is actually saying, oh, it's stepping down again. You can't really get a good judgment on this. If we can we pull up there? No other information on what the actual CPU is running at. So if we go to tool, we go to EPU a minute, high performance. So if we drop into the BIOS, we can always have a check. Trying to get this to fire up. I just put something on in media player and turned on the animations or the visualizations to try and spring the CPU back to life from speed step. And there's been some interesting numbers as it jumps. There you go, 4.7. So basically, nearly 4.1 gigahertz there. That might be the turbo boost kicking in and generating a new. So you go, there you go, 4.5 gigahertz, and it jumps to times 25 multiplier. So and there you go. That's an interesting one. That was like that was like nearly 5 gigahertz then on that one. Again, nearly 5 gigahertz. So that's on times 25. So that may be a new turbo boost calculator. That's probably why some people usually turn the turbo boost off, because it probably boosts further than the. But you know, we can always keep it and see how it is stability wise at those settings. But we'll drop into the UEFI BIOS and just see what's going on anyway.